Damn.
147. Shit, if I
147.
tap that chin, you know he going to sleep.
I already know. I already know
he
he
ain't
is.
got no chin.
I already know he is.
Said no chance.
With all the hype going on in the boxing community, things are about to get more heated as Gervonta Davis has given Terence Crawford a brutal knockout warning in their potential matchup if they fight 147B, shocking boxing fans worldwide. Anti-Tank Davies, known for his remarkable fighting style and charming nature, is no stranger when it comes to calling out boxers for a battle, but it looks like this time he has really hit the mark with his choice. After getting countless knockout wins, the most recent one being against Frank Martin Tank, he has earned himself a seat in the Boxing Hall of Fame, which gets recognized by many legends, including his former foes Frank and Ryan Garcia. Martin, despite brutally losing to Gervonta, could not keep himself from giving the Tank the acknowledgement that he earned. While talking about their bout, Frank commented how Davis holds a power that very few have these days in boxing, and he uses this advantage to get an edge against his opponent.
The really devastating power?
I mean, he got power, you know what I mean? But it's more like he do a great job at landing this big shot. You know, he know how to land that shot. You know, hit guys on the button and just get them up out of there. You know.
Ryan, while giving his due to Davis, stressed how he is an excellent opponent and a ferocious fighter who can cause a lot of trouble in the ring for anyone, no matter how skilled you are. Ryan also gave Davis tips to work on his movements, as that can be his weak point against a quick fighter such as Terence Crawford. He said, "I think he does trouble with activity. I know he caught me with a good shot, but think somebody that is just a little bit more disciplined than me and has a little bit more activity can give him a lot of problems." He further added, "You just got to be careful with Gervonta Davis and play it smart." I didn't play it smart with all this praise and appreciation. It looks like Devin is now up for another huge bout with the one and only Terence Crawford, who can only be called by many a hard nut to crack with his spectacular fighting style and vast experience in almost every weight class. Terence finally seems to be ready for this. Whenever the opportunity arises for a long time, there has been a possibility of a fight between these two, as it's not new that they have called out one another, but things may finally see a result, as recently Gervonta Davis came out and stated that he will knock out Terence Crawford if they were to ever meet at 147B, starting the drama all over again. Question for you, Tank. At 147, how does a fight with you and Terence Crawford look? I tapped that CH, you know he is going to sleep. I already know he is a man. I already know he said no. Hey, I got round 5. Yeah, I got round 6. We'll go with that. I'm putting in my 6th round, Bud, after hearing about this recent call-out, has responded, saying that this time he is ready for him. He stated that Davis seems to be becoming cocky after getting knockout wins, but he would most definitely fall when he fights him. Terence even made an amusing comment on how he is going to wait for him at 147 so he can move up from his 135B division. He said he got the confidence in himself that he believes that he can do that because he's been knocking all these fighters out that he's been in the ring with, so no knock to Tank, but there are definitely levels. He further added that if he thinks he's going to knock Terence Crawford out, he has another thing coming. I'd stay at 147 pounds for him. That's a big money fight, but nobody's going to give me credit. Tank's like 5'5". He's a little guy. If you are a longtime boxing fan, you are aware that Crawford is a guy who is known to move up the weight classes to fight with more worthy opponents, and nowadays he seems to have eyes on Canelo. This fight is also not 100% confirmed yet, as Terence has to reach 168 pounds to be considered a challenge against the mighty Canelo in the heavyweight division, but there seems to be a huge buzz around this as well. Terence said, I mean, catch weight. We can do something at a catch weight 160,158 would be cool. Gervonta Davis, with his stellar record, has now become a household name in boxing and has solidified his place with the likes of Terence Crawford, Canelo Alvarez, and the new heavyweight champion of the world, Alexander Usyk. With his new and refreshing fighting style and grandeur, it looks like Gervonta Davis has become the new crowd grabber, as he has proven countless times in the past that he pulls the largest of crowds to the arenas. Even Eddie Hearn seems to agree to this despite not being in the best of relationship with Gervonta Davis. Eddie, while reacting to the Tank vs. Martin fight, commented on how Gervonta Davis is the new big star, who is the sole reason that this fight was this big and was able to make a huge sum of money. Eddie said, I saw the knockout. I think Davis is a big star, very entertaining. I mean, he carried that whole promotion. He's changed quite a lot. I think he's become a lot more articulate, and I believe he's become a lot more commercially savvy. Even though he didn't turn up to the arrivals, which is never ideal. He's carrying the whole promotion himself, like there's no promoter. Eddie also said how this new and improved Gant is someone that everyone wants to see more of in the future. with possible fights against some of the big names in his division, such as Teofimo Lopez, Shocker Stevenson, and Devin Haney. These potential fights can not only be a huge money grabber, but according to Hearn, they can also make Davis one of the best fighters of this era, as no one is doing things like he is. Eddie added that he's having to do all the speaking, he has to do all the entertaining, and he's very heavy-handed. I hope that we can see him in some big fights. I don't think his resume can be so much better, and I believe he has the ability to be all of those guys maybe, but I would love to see him fight Teofimo, to fight Shocker, to fight Devin. I mean, he has a real opportunity to be great in his time. These comments made by Hearn about Davis not having any promoter in the recent fights he was in have resulted in the past drama surrounding him and Floyd Mayweather to reignite. Going back to 2022, things started heating up between the two when Davis decided to leave the Mayweather Productions. At first, no one knew the reason for this rift, but lately things seem to unravel.
About your first fight, GTD, what's the plans for that and how big it is to finally get your first one?
It's just a test run right now, just to, you know what I mean? I'm on my own type of joint, but much love to Mayweather Promotion, you know what I mean? Leonard, Floyd, all them guys, I definitely appreciate them, you know what I mean? But, you know what I mean, I'm just doing my own thing now, you know what I mean? Not saying in the future we can't work together and everything like that, but just trying, you know what I mean? Put my own pass on it.
So how's your relationship with Floyd now? Is he still part of your champion serial times or no?
Floyd outdoing him. He always been like that. You know what I mean? Shit, we involved heavy, deeply. You know what I mean? We in there. We in there. You know what I mean? And I'm excited.
If we look at the root cause of this rift, it all started when Floyd made some comments on how he prefers to save money and is not supportive of the spending habits that most fighters these days have. After these comments appeared, triggered people went onto social media to call him a fraud and how he is not a good promoter as he only looks out for his own personal gains. He has also come recently with various statements on how he is doing much better now, and he has become so much bigger than he ever was while he was in contract with Mayweather Promotions. Tank also said that, despite all the criticism, he has proved time and time again that he is a much bigger deal than Floyd himself. He said, "I'm at that point where I have surpassed him and I'm doing it at a young age." Then, when Floyd was 29, you'll see this deal that I'm talking about. He doesn't know about that yet, but that's bigger than his deal being a notable boxing commentator. Showbiz the Adult has made some controversial statements on how leaving Mayweather was the best ever decision made by Gervonta Davis, even though many did not agree with his point of view, saying that leaving someone like Floyd could be damaging for Tank's career. Shia has said countless times that the real era of Gervonta Davis has now begun, clarifying his remarks. Shim said that the claims made by many regarding Floyd are true, that he is only concerned about making money and profit for his company, rather than making a lifetime legacy, which is not something many fighters like Tank are looking for.
Honestly, I'm not sure how good Floyd is for fighters, because Floyd thinks like money. He doesn't think like pretty boy. So when he's bringing his fighters up, he thinks money. Currency over legacy. That hurts a fighter career. It does. That's why I said Tank has arrived. And a lot of you guys said Tank's been here. I said, no, Tank has arrived now. He's his own man. I remember when Floyd Mayweather arrived. I remember when he left. Bob Arrow. I remember when Roy Jones Jr. arrived. I remember when he left his father, bruh. And that's right now for Gervonta Tank.
Just recently, news broke out that Leonard Erb, the CEO of Mayweather Productions, has retired and has been replaced by Richard Schaefer, who is the former CEO of Golden Boy Promotions. Despite no official statement made by either party, fans can't help but notice that this is due to the Davis dispute, and many recent comments made by Davis himself have further fueled this fire. Gervonta made comments like Floyd is a bidder, and if you sign with this fraud, he will up your career. He is not a good businessman at all. With the drama coming to light again, both Davis and Floyd have engaged in a tones back and forth. There were even claims made by many authentic sources that Floyd may be partaking in activities to sabotage Davis. This claim was later verified by Tank himself, who lashed out at Floyd for backstabbing him and giving tips to Frank Martin before their fight. Davis claimed, "You know, he's the one who told Frank that I was running at 5-7 morning Friday. He said that he was going to give Frank tips. I have seen his peoples drive by, but not letting this whole ordeal affect him." Davis looks laser focused on his mission of fighting more and more big names, including the one and only Shocker Stevenson, now like the expected fight with Terence. Since Frank Martin and Grant's fight, both boxers are in their prime and on winning streaks, making this fight one of the most talked about in recent years. Many pros and fans believe that it's finally time for a fight between these two, as Shocker and Davis have been on Gervonta hit list for a very long time. Shocker himself has come forward to comment on when the fans can finally expect this battle to take place. Shocker said, "Me and Tank will be the biggest boxing fight in the world when it happens. I can see this fight happening not too far in the future. I think Tank will sign the contract, and I am going to sign the contract too." With this head start made by Shocker Davis team, he's also hyped up for the upcoming battle, and Leonard Dollar has also come forward to tell the world that this is the era of Davis now, as he is going to beat the top guys one after another and will become the best pound-for-pound boxer in the world and to prove all his haters wrong.
He has a hit list, and he's going to get every one of these guys who y'all say are the top guys. Trust me. Shakur's going to get that work. He asking for it, he going to get that work. But it ain't what he think it is. I can't wait for it to happen, though.
How confident you are Tank could be fighting someone like a Devin Haney or a Shakur, a Lomachenko next? Do you see that kind of a fight happening for Tank?
All these guys who you guys say are the top guys out there, Tank gonna get every one of these guys. He just can't fight them all in one night. He done already got Ryan Garcia out the way. Next is Frank Martin on the hit list.
With this fight happening soon, Bud has also come out to give his views about this battle between Tank and Shocker. Bud, who is the next competitor on John's site, emphasized that Tank is a formidable opponent and difficult to beat. He added that this new and improved Dan has power and stamina like we have never seen before and can prove to be the toughest fight in Shocker's career. He said, "One thing I can say about Tank, he is smart, he can box, and he is explosive. I see this being Shocker's toughest fight because of the power." Moving on to Terence, Crawford and Gervonta Davis battle. These two have been at each other's throats for a long time, throwing subtle shade with Davis calling but out many times hilariously. There were also comments made by Davis about how he would easily defeat Crawford, as he is weak compared to him and does not have the powerful chin that he claims to have. "I know that CH, you know he is going to sleep. I already know you are reacting to this particular comment." Terence kept his usual calm composure and casually threw shots back at Davis by saying that if he thinks that he can defeat him, then he should come at 147 and fight this supposed weak last chin. He also commented on how he will wait, but once he has gone above 147, he will not be back. Terence added that he is not exactly sure about this fight as he is not really going to gain from it, as people will start to make comments on how he fought a shorter guy, so it was easy for him.
He said I got a glass chin. So tell him come and touch him.
Wow. Devontae said you got a glass.
He said I got a glass chin. Tell him come and touch it.
At 147?
At 147. I'll make 147 for him.
Ooh, see, oh man.
You're gonna have a pre-camp.
Then what the people gonna say? Oh, he's beating up on little guys.
I don't know. The people might want to see that one. Bro. That's just for the spectacle.
That's the only thing left, really, after like with 154. After beat the Charlo brother, I mean, what's really next? I mean,
I'm not coming back down.
That's
when
what
I
I'm
go up, I'm not coming back down.
Because my son already faced Tank when he was only 15 years old, and Tank was about 30 pounds bigger than him, and when we sparred him, and my son, did really good with him, even though because Tank at that time, I worked with my son, and he wasn't even working in that sparring session. My son was about 30 pounds smaller than him. Tank already was 6-0 with 6 knockouts, and my son was still an amateur. My son was only 15 years old. Tank was 18. And anybody that wants to see that sparring match, man, they could go to YouTube and put Teofimo Lopez against Tank, and you'll see the video. To me, he outworked in boxing. The way to beat Tank, you gotta box him. You gotta box him. You gotta be, Tank is scared of the boxers. He's scared of the guys that know how to box. Those are the guys he's scared.
With this Tank disc, Teofimo also seems to have his eyes on everyone's favorite, Terence Crawford. If you are aware of Teofimo history, you know that he called Bud out some months ago after defeating Ortiz while still standing in the center of the ring, and it looks like he has done it again. In the same Gervonta Davis interview, Teofimo also called Bud for a match once again while saying that he is the only man enough to fight him at this point. He said, "I'd just rather go after the guy that's too much of an ego," and that's Terence Crawford still, despite all these call-outs from Gervonta Davis and Teofimo. but seems to be enjoying his spot at the top with the quest to go battle for bigger titles such as the unified WBC and WBO Super Welterweight Championships, which can earn him more prestige in the boxing world. But with his advancing age, it looks like Terence has to make a choice real soon, as with this passing time his ranking may dwindle and he will not remain in the spotlight. So what do you guys think? Bud would choose a chance at moving the weight class to face Canelo as he always planned, or to stay in the 147 pounds division to battle out Gant to show him who's the boss? So that's it for today, folks. Just like always, if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel, and make sure to tell us about your thoughts in the comments below.